Hello out there in YouTube land, all my beautiful friends. Today I have a special guest joining me on the channel. This is my friend Eli, who I met at the Tanglewood Fruit Festival, and he's moving around a lot. He's an active guy. He's an amazing person, and so some things I want to tell you about him is Eli is a real-life fruitarian, and he lives in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
So it's going to be something that we talk about. And he is a stuntman, which is probably why he's like, whoa! And whoa! He could do that really well. So I wanted to bring him on today just to kind of describe the lifestyle and just have a little organic conversation. And I wanted to share it with my audience, who most of my audience are Course in Miracles students, where I get on every day. This year I committed to every day I make a video about the daily lesson of the Course in Miracles. Today was lesson number 67, and I'm just like blanking right now what it is. Anyway, I'll try to
I wish I could. I know.
remember that.
I won't remember. Yeah. If you remember, then we'll bring it up later.
Yes. It'll come to me, and I'll just like spit it out in the middle of our conversation. So anyway, that's normally what I talk about. And then I have also been talking about my 21-day water fast. Today is day 6.
Very commendable, by the way. Very commendable.
Eli has also fasted many times, so I would love to hear about your experience with that too.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you want, do you want to introduce yourself and just kind of talk a little bit about your lifestyle?
Yeah.
How you got to being a fruitarian?
Right. So I'll keep it really, really short and just give a really brief encapsulation. I'm a dude. I'm just a dude from Toronto. I got into athletics really early, really young, and got into the film industry. Before that happened, I became an independent researcher, I guess you could say, just consuming book after book on every single subject. Doing that led me eventually down the sorry, there's bugs all over the place here. Led down the path of learning about health, medicine, the history of medicine, the dark history of medicine, health and omitted health, the health that is the branch of health that is omitted from typical discussions on health. So learned about all that, and then started to make slight changes to my diet. Eliminated a whole bunch of stuff, eliminated meat and dairy, all animal products basically.
Okay.
Which was probably the easiest step in the entire process from then till now.
I agree. Yeah, that transition.
That required zero transition. I literally was a meat eater for my whole life, and then the next morning, just boop, woke up and I was vegan, right?
No mas, as they say here in Costa Rica.
No mas. Yeah, no mas. Yeah, I'm like, screw this. So anyway, I lived as a plant-based dieter for quite a long time, and then got onto more of the natural hygiene movement from the early 1800s onward up until really the mid 1900s. And that was kind of like the heyday of natural hygiene until the movement really just got stifled and squashed by the medical institution and by other branches of nutritional science. That was all part and parcel of the kind of just the general direction the world was heading into. This left-brained, no spirituality, all myopic understanding of biochemistry and whatnot, and nutrition just took on this biochemical priority, and we lost a lot of the natural wisdom that would have characterized our ancestors, that our ancestors would have had in their relationship with how they eat.
Yeah, became very symptoms focused.
Yeah,
lacking everything good.
Yeah.
Preventive health doesn't really exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I could keep talking about this, but essentially, I discovered, but it was more of a process of unlearning the damage that I had plagued my mind with rather than learning. And so the more I learned about the natural approach to health and life, the more I realized that the way to really embody vitality is to stop thinking, first of all, and think more like a squirrel
Yes!
Think more like a muskrat. Think more like a frilled lizard. Just don't. These organisms, they make zero nutritional considerations. They only do what God has programmed into their physiology, and that's all you need to know. And it takes a lot of study, right, and information and knowledge to realize that your knowledge is completely unnecessary and almost irrelevant when it comes to structuring your diet correctly in accordance with what your physiology demands or determines you to be, right? So once I got into that wavelength, that was it. That was all the understanding I really needed.
Yeah.
Everything, the learning process never stops. I'm always studying. But yeah, once I realized what I actually was, what God, nature had designed me to do and be, then I simply had the honesty of self to stop asking questions and stop trying to fight against my makeup, to fight against my nature, and simply, relax and surrender to what nature made me out to be.
Yeah.
And I started doing that and poured all my faith into that and not worry about anything else that the world tells me I have to be worried of and be mindful of.
Right.
And
all the questions on your last
it
slide.
worked. Yeah.
What about protein?
Yes.
What about your vitamins?
What about protein? What about this? What about what
Yeah.
about superoxide dismutase? How much
Superfoods?
this?
Don't you need superfoods?
Yeah. Do I need salt? Okay. How much salt should I add? Should I pour salt into my water? What about this? What about coffee? What about tea? What about? It's just a never. Unless you're rooted in proper foundations, you will be plagued by this incessant deluge of constant questions and nitpicky, individual, myopic little details, all these insignificant details, and you will never stop asking these because we're not rooted in foundation. And it's the second you root yourself in very obvious, clear foundation, the rest becomes fairly effortless. Again, like a chipmunk, right? Chipmunk knows exactly what it's doing, exactly what it's supposed to eat, and it doesn't question that ever from the time it starts eating till the time it gracefully leaves this planet, right? So you can live the same way. We can all live the same way with the same effortless grace and beauty and elegance with your relationship to your food, and it's quite an empowering thing, and so that's what I tried to do, and yeah, it seems to be working, I guess.
Yeah. So you're a fruitarian,
Yeah.
and I've recently, over the past couple of years, I've been reading Arnold Ehret's books, Mucosis Diet Healing System, and Rational Fasting, and who else? Oh, Dr. Robert Morse, who's amazing. I always remember his moment of the fast that he did, or sort of orange feast that he did when he went out in the woods. He's like, I had all these experiences.
Yeah.
And I'm like, on just fruit? How's that possible? So I think you're the only real fruitarian that I know. Other than all the other amazing beings I met at the fruit festival, which this was my fruit festival, my first one. I'm totally going to do this again. So what does it mean to you? What does a day in the life of Eli's food look like?
Okay, in terms of food, what I'm
what
eating?
Are you eating?
It's very simple. It's very simple. When I first started, I almost tried to imagine it like, Eli, if you were in the Garden of Eden, what would you do? Imagine what the Garden of Eden might have looked like. Okay, I don't know exactly what it looked like.
Here.
Yeah, it maybe like this. I don't know. Use your imagination, goddammit. Okay, so fruit trees growing everywhere, herbs everywhere. What would you eat? And you would eat probably the most attractive things in your environment.
Which your eye catches.
Which your nose picks up on.
Yeah.
The shapes of the fruits as distinguished from the vegetables. There's more ants everywhere. Anyway, so yeah, you'd be going after the fruits, easy. And so that's what I normally do. I will say, fruitarian. Okay, that's not an actual scientific term. It's just a term that we use, or that the community seems to have latched onto to describe what you're doing when you eat a raw food diet that is premised primarily on the food that is most optimized for your physiology. So
Thank you.
when you say fruitarian, it doesn't mean that you must eat only fruit all the time. I cannot ever touch a leaf of lettuce.
Nothing else.
That's baloney. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's stress. That's not the way to live. Okay, not even frugivorous species, which is what you are, what I am, what everyone is. Even other frugivores, in nature, might not eat a 100% fruit diet from the day they start eating till the day they die. They'll eat leaves every once in a while. Like they'll eat some, if there's some nuts or walnuts around or almonds that have, they might have some.
So like fruit and leafy greens, nuts and seeds.
Yes. Those are your three foods. I call those the three elements that can constitute a human diet. And so you can eat any of those, free reign on any of those as much as you like. At the end of the day, fruit is going to be what is most optimized for your system. You're going to break that down with the most ease. You'll have the best absorption from fruit. Even if there's a particular mineral in, let's just say, a vegetable that is more highly concentrated than the fruit, you're probably going to absorb more of that mineral or nutrient or whatever from the fruit, even if it's in less concentration, because your absorption is so much greater on the fruit than with the vegetable that is packed with kind of dense cellulose that you don't really break down or use, kind of like herbivores do.
And I had an experience where I spent 2 weeks at the Ann Wigmore Health Institute in Puerto Rico, which is primarily greens.
Right.
And what they fed us was, it was amazing food, very delicious, but the detox was such a slow onset for me.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I came and ate fruit primarily. We did have salads at night. And I had like pains in my body after 2 days because of going through a detox process. So I was amazed at how powerful the fruit just gets in there and just starts cleansing and detoxifying so much faster.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I watched Eli eat many papayas, and I really want to say that I honor your scraping of the skin. There is nothing left. Mangoes, papayas, I mean anything. He knows how to purify everything just to get it all in. So would you say that you do fruit primarily for breakfast and lunch, or you do even eat 3 meals a day?
Okay, so I know I didn't
Sorry,
actually answer your last question. So let me just answer with now that context. I do like to try to give as much comprehensive context when I'm answering a question. So forgive me if I flesh it out a little bit more. But to now directly answer your question about what I eat, it's usually mono meals at a type of fruit at a time.
One fruit at a time.
Right, one fruit at a time. I might have a couple of different fruits within a given meal window. So let's just say there's about 2 hours. Let's just say 2 hours. Oh my God. Let's just say there's 2 hours. That is my meal time for the day. Okay. Then I might start with a papaya, like you said, like you saw me doing quite often during the fruit fest. Then I might wait for a little bit and then do some pineapple, and then maybe wait for a little bit and then finish off with some mangoes. Okay. And that might be it for the day, or I might have another small eating window later on that day. But one way or the other, it's usually a mono fruit meal. I don't mind mixing up fruits together.
Yeah.
If I do, then it's typically a small variety of them, like 2 to 3 max, right? In a single serving, like a single plate or a bowl or whatever. But I tend to prefer mono meals, and I tend to prefer them because you respond so much better to
The
just
digestion.
mono meals. Yeah.
The body likes simplicity.
Yes,
I'm learning.
exactly.
So, just drinking water.
Just in the simplicity. People might not know this, but your system is designed monotrophically, so it means that you're optimized to eat and digest one thing at a time. Okay. Regardless of what your personal subjective opinions are of that, this is irrelevant. You are designed to optimally digest one thing at a time. If you don't believe me, try it. Do it for 3 days. Eat one thing at a time. Watch how the bloating just goes away, right? There's no indigestion. How you feel the next morning. Just do it. You can let your body give you all the answers. You don't need to take it from me. Usually if animal dies in the wilderness, in the jungle, you can do like an autopsy, cut open their guts. Typically you'll find that there's just like one single item or one single collection of veggies or whatnot. Apes, they've done this with apes and monkeys.
Yeah,
Usually there's just like one, maybe two things in their belly, but they don't have this bog of, of
because
stuff.
our culture is so decadent, and there's so much temptation to go to these places that have like really complicated, delicious meals, but we have no idea what it's doing to us.
Yeah.
It's just like an art form, which it can be honored, maybe like very rarely, but I think to make your body function best, mono meals and simple meals are the best.
Definitely.
For us.
Yeah, definitely. It's simplicity. Yeah. It's always, when you're giving your body the easiest time to operate, that's when it rewards you and it says, oh, thank you for giving me an easy task. It's just like, it's no different than how you treat people.
Yeah.
It's this wonderful world of repeating paradigm, repeating phenomena, repeating laws and principles. Be nice to other people. What do? They're more likely to give you a gift, return the favor to you in some way. Yeah, like you guys know this, right?
Yep.
Do the same thing to your body. It's going to be more likely to gift you something in return. Better energy, clearer skin, whatever it is. It's going to be nice to you. Be nice to your organs. They will be nice back to you.
Hug them, love them.
Hug them, love them, right? So yeah, how I eat. It's either one small meal window during the day. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, that's how it was. I had one small meal window during the day, and then that was it. Or I might do two meals. What's a meal? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I'd just rather say meal
eating
window.
periods.
Yeah, eating periods, yeah. So
okay.
Either one or two eating periods during the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about fasting, but I also want to talk about how you look so muscular and healthy. And, a lot of people might wonder, like, how is it possible that you're eating so little and you're just eating fruit? How do you get muscles and stuff? Like, what in the world?
Well, okay. Thank you for completely flattering me.
Did I throw you off?
No. I'm stoic, I tell you.
Yes.
Stoic. Nothing phases me.
God mode.
Yes. Okay. So it's possible. It's possible because it's not me that's doing something limited or restrictive. It's the world that has fallen under the mental snare, the mental delusion of believing that what the marketplace tells you need as a quantity of food per day has nothing to do with your actual physiological requirements and has everything to do with the market preference for selling you vast swaths of food. Okay? You guys got that, right? Okay, maybe I can say that in a different way.
It's all market driven. It's like you're sold the big signs, come here, come there, and then the portions are huge. Yeah. So I think it just becomes normal.
That's right.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, that's right. RDAs, recommended daily allowances, okay, recommended intakes of different nutrients or different foods, whatnot. These are all overblown, all not even based on human beings and actual human physiology and what's optimal. None of these were considerations in these. These are all based on like rat studies and the values that they get. They increase their numbers just to be safety, like to provide a margin of error, just to make sure nobody is deficient, right? So all these numbers are overblown. The amount of protein you need, astronomically overblown. Okay, so it's not that I'm doing anything. That's the first thing. This is the first thing that our minds have to wrap themselves around.
Yeah.
Is that when you see people like me, other examples of people like myself who live very, very simply and easily and are not kind of just wasting away, it's because we're not doing anything radical. We're actually just doing something that's more in tune with how we're supposed to be, right? If you look at, I don't know, you ever see videos or images of tribal individuals, right?
Yeah.
People that live away from modern civilization and they're just living off the land, right? Isn't it interesting? They all seem to look like carbon copies of one another.
Yeah.
In terms
Slender,
of their physique.
but like muscles.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Nobody is overly muscular,
Right.
because that's just a survival disadvantage. They're not, but they're very capable, very physically capable. I'm not saying they all eat like I do.
Right.
Whatever
right.
they eat. A lot of them include meats. A lot of them are more. It doesn't matter what they eat. That what I'm pressing on you is that they eat simply. Whatever it is, they eat simply. They don't have all the lavish flavors and combinations that we would have in the West, where I'm from, in North America. And so they all look very similar, just like a whole bunch of cheetahs or a whole bunch of deer or a whole bunch of cantaloupe. Nobody's overweight. Nobody's emaciated. They all just look like clones. Like one. Yeah. Why? Because they do what they're supposed to be doing, and Mother Nature reproduces their behavior and rewards their behavior by creating a body that is unfolding what its intended nature is to be, and that places their structure in very particular parameters, right? And so they all end up looking just as each other. They're all doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not too fat. They're not too emaciated, and so they look healthy, right? They look correct. And so anyway, that's the first thing to understand. It's a long-winded way of saying that I eat the way I do because that's a more natural way to go about it. And I would probably say most people don't have any idea of what they actually weigh, what nature wants them to weigh. They carry around way more weight and waste than they think, right?
Yeah. We're the West. I mean, America probably is like the most obese country in the world, and it's just normalized. It's normal. It's even like, accept yourself if you're heavy and love your body, and it's like, well, nah.
Yeah, no, that would be the incorrect and probably the less spiritual interpretation, right? Because if nature and God operate by any principle, any paradigm, any protocol, it's strict binding law. And there are physiological laws that if you violate them, you're punished by pathological weight gain, right? Excess is the curse of human dietetics on this planet right now. We indulge in everything. That's the problem. And in the direct corollary of indulgence is excess weight on your body. That's like the so it's funny, your body doesn't lie. You know, you see someone who's extremely overweight and obese, the body tells the story of what the lifestyle is like, right? It doesn't lie to you. And so, you know, when you take care of your body, you're doing yourself a spiritual service. You're revering, you're putting on a pedestal the things that God gave you. You're putting on the pedestal your physical, your spiritual, your emotional. And so
I feel like that's where I'm coming to also with my body is I'm now seeing it as, well, in the Course in Miracles it says that the body is a learning device, and this whole planet is a learning experience, but I feel like it was created by God, and I'm meant to inhabit it, to have my experience in this illusory world. And that I'm learning now, just here during this fast, that there's like two sides of my mind. There's the ego and there's the Holy Spirit's mind, or the right mind or the wrong mind. And the ego is in charge of the body, and the ego is the one. So it's not like you're a bad person if you're heavy, but it's like the ego is the one that suggests to you, go eat here, have more of this, you're not done yet. you know, you need these superfoods or whatever it is. So I've learned how to turn that voice down, and I'm really loving this natural process, like feeling my heartbeat so much, and having, I mean, I've lost like 10 pounds, which is interesting. I'm only 6 days in.
Week. Wow, yeah.
But I know that there's,
fasting.
while I'm fasting, and it's like detoxification that's happening, and all kinds of processes that the body is initiating. I'm doing nothing. I'm taking nothing. I'm only drinking spring water. And so I just have this reverence now for this object, but yet I'm not too attached to it because I realize I'm an eternal being. My soul is going to leave this body behind, but why not have the best possible experience that I could while I'm walking around?
Yeah.
And it feels like my journey is just taking me to those options, which brought me here to meet you and to be here in this amazing place. And I feel like hospitals should be like this. You know, like this should be the model for healing everywhere. But anyway, I mean, that could go into the dreaming phase.
Well, it's liberating, right? Treating your body well is also to subsequently treat your emotional self well, and subsequently to treat your mental and spiritual well. And it's liberating when your body is empowered with the vitality that God and nature want it to be empowered by. Your life starts to become so much more interesting. I just came from shooting a vlog way up in a tree, just for fun, just because you can. It's more interesting, right? And there's no worries. There's no, like, you're able-bodied. Like it's life starts to become so much more of a blessing when you have all your tools available to you. I'll just keep it at that.
Yes. Yeah. So as a stuntman, speaking of climbing trees and making videos, do you feel like were you doing that before you transitioned into this current diet, or like is there a comparison? So how did your stuntman life improve when you started eating this way? So
that's
a leading question. Sorry. No. How did it change?
No, I get you. So a couple of things. Leading this lifestyle, it engendered in me a whole new level of metabolic efficiency. So what that means is I could go, so on set, like sometimes if you're working on location, you don't have immediate access to comforts, right? Food, certain foods that you like.
Coffee. Everybody probably needs to get the
coffee. Yeah. There's now catering is there on film sets and whatnot. But there are times when you're just out in the bush or doing whatever where there's no time for eating. And what this lifestyle did is it helped me become so much more metabolically efficient, such that I could do anything and everything for no matter how long the shift took, whether it's from morning to the bitter end, to nighttime, or even the morning after. I could do all that with no food and be perfectly fine and be perfectly functional, no matter what type of physical activity we're doing. It doesn't matter to me.
Awesome.
Whether I eat or not who cares? And I can just eat when I go home, or even eat the next day. So having that flexibility, just to not care, it's so advantageous for film. What a gift!
I think a lot of people are very much like, and I had my thing with coffee. I've let it go, but like I need to have this coffee, or I need to have this, or I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like, you're like totally free of that.
Yeah.
And I think I also want to talk to you about fasting. So probably like this lifestyle and the spiritual evolution and all the things that happened to you was one piece, but then also you have experience with fasting. So I think that probably helps you with being able to let go, because
Definitely.
I'm not going to die if I don't have something to eat.
Definitely. Yeah. And I've logged in a lot of fasting time prior to noticing these shifts in how I perform at work. So yeah, there's that. Whether it's the diet, putting clean stuff into your body, and whether it's bouts of cleansing and fasting, these are both tools that you're using to ignite new levels of development and efficiency in your body. So that was one thing that I noticed. The other, what's this? Oh, my probably just ran out of battery on my camera here. No, it's okay. Yeah, one of the other things I noticed was that I had an easier time just having sustained energy through the day.
Oh,
Even if I
Not like,
ate less. Yeah. Even if I ate less, it's just my energy was just cleaner throughout the day. No coffees, no stimulants, no nothing. You go to a film set, everyone's running around, everyone's got their stimulants, everyone's got their power drinks, and they need these things to get through the day. It's just, you feel, sometimes it feels like superpowers, right?
Yeah.
Just be able to sit back and relax and just, watch the circus go on. It's just like, I'm so glad I'm not a part of that world anymore,
Right. And your life force is just like coursing through, and you're like, it may not feel exciting, but you're like, I'm totally fine. I need nothing.
Right. You need very little. And I think that was one of the major things that helped me in my film career, and just how I perform.
Yeah.
Is just being liberated from the needs, from the dietary needs of everything that people seem to need when they're on set.
Right.
Okay, so next, another thing, recovery. Recovery, your ability to recover from exercise or from soreness or whatever it is, to recover day to day is drastically improved. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm trying to be concise here. Flexibility, your flexibility improves quite markedly when you introduce only clean, hydrating food into your body. So I didn't need to work nearly as hard to be flexible.
Nice.
Right? Flexibility and mobility. If you're a stuntman, you can't imagine how important that is, and how much more useful you are when you are limber and able to move around and agile. Yeah. You won't get injured nearly as often. The last injury, one of the only times actually I've sprained my ankle on set, was 2 years ago now. And I was really worried because I sprained my ankle. I was running up a car. So I had to run up a car onto the hood and onto the roof, and then like jump off or something like that. Anyway, the wardrobe you're wearing is just not ideal for that.
Right.
Wearing these big clunky boots that don't fit right. It was wet and rainy outside.
Yeah.
Anyway, so conditions got the better of me. My ankle rolls on the car, and I topple off the car and fall into the ground. So I was really worried I'd rolled my ankle, and by the next day, I was sprinting on a treadmill, and by the 2 days later, my ankle was like 99% better.
Wow,
I was
2 days.
I was ecstatic. I'm like, this is awesome. Holy smokes, right?
Thank you, natural food.
Yeah, it was great.
Or did you fast, or you just kind of kept eating
No, I didn't fast, but I played the vitality management game very well.
Okay, gotcha.
So I conserved as much energy as possible. Went to bed really early. Obviously ate clean food. That was never going to change. And I didn't baby my injury too much. The first day after the injury itself, you baby it, you just do nothing. I would even say conventionally, let baby your injuries if you get them, like an ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Baby it for 2 days or so, 3 days, even. After that, start activity. Start gently moving and just keep the blood flowing, stimulation, right? But yeah, so I noticed that it healed really, really, really quickly. Yeah. And that was great, because I needed to be able to perform to the max, like for the rest of the shoot, for like a month of shooting. So I couldn't have been happier with that result, right?
What?
Nobody knew. I didn't have to tell anybody that I had rolled my ankle, so it wasn't a thing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
You weren't taken out at all.
Yeah.
So what's a movie that we may have seen you in, or we could now look for you?
Let's see. Shazam. The very first Shazam movie had a fun little part in that film, where a bus was careening off of a highway, and so got to experience what it's like to be in a bus that kind of capsizes over a highway and then falling through. Yeah, it was really interesting. So you'll see me in that film if you take a look.
Now I'm gonna watch it.
Let's see. There's a lot of the films you might not even recognize me or notice me. Like, one of my favorite films is Planet of the Apes. So I was on the action development team for the last one, War for the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
And so, but you'd never know it's me, right?
Right.
You'd never see me.
They doctor it up a lot, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
hard to...
I was doing motion capture as apes. So
Oh.
so it's all like you would never notice.
Okay.
Whether it's me or someone else, right? You
Yeah.
just see a whole bunch of monkeys running around.
Cool. Good to know, though.
Yeah, yeah. So there's lots, there's tons of stuff, but yeah, check out Shazam. That's one of them. Had a small role in Pompeii. This was shot a long time ago. Where you'd likely see me. There's other stuff out there. Little speaking roles on TV shows here or there. But yeah, I do a lot of video game motion capture as well. But of course, you would never notice that it's me that's doing the mocap. It's always done over in a CG skin of some sort.
Mocap.
Motion capture. Video game.
You said that. I like acronyms.
Did I say it? Okay.
I was in the Army for a long time, and we speak in acronyms, and a lot of times I will say things, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" So,
yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is a lot of fun, and it started to be even more fun when I started to come online with the nutritional prerogatives and the obligations that you have to yourself, to your own inner nature. And so, yeah, honoring that, it just helped with everything. I remember the very first time I went for a job, like I had asthma issues, like respiratory issues all throughout my childhood. And then and I noticed that when I went for a bout of activity, that I would be wheezing, I would wheeze. It's even though I could still go for a jog for half an hour or whatever, or 20 minutes or whatever it was, I would notice that I would be wheezing at the end.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, just some obstruction there. And I noticed that after a while of living this lifestyle, just one day, I couldn't exactly pinpoint when. It was probably a gradual thing, but one day I went for a jog and then did some sprints at the end of the jog. And then as I was cooling down, it just dawned on me. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? The wheeziness, it's gone, right? What happened to it? And it was just the most exciting thing ever.
That's so great.
Yeah, it was really exciting. So yeah, lots of gifts that this lifestyle gives you. One thing I will say for people listening, when you reform your lifestyle and reform your eating such that you're eating only clean foods and uncooked foods as well, physical activity and fitness is not an option. It's a necessity. You have to be supplementing your lifestyle with a requisite amount of physical activity. What happens if you don't? If you don't, then the cleansing nature of the food that you're eating will continue to just take away tissue, not good tissue, not vital tissue.
No vital organs.
Yeah, nothing like that. But you're going to be under this influence of a cleansing program. So you want to be giving your body the instructions that your muscle mass is precious, and you do that by using them, right? You have to use those muscles and make them work so that your body knows that, okay, this is also vital tissue that I cannot afford to give up because my host is telling me that this is the lifestyle that we're being imposed with. So,
and maybe that's why some people who have these like raw vegan or fruitarian or whatever lifestyles, if they're not exercising, they probably look a little small and a little fragile. Yeah. Because I definitely don't get that from no fragility over here with Eli. But yeah, that's such a good point. I mean, whatever your lifestyle is, everyone's like transitioning here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. But exercise is so important, and it doesn't have to be like extreme. You just have to keep moving your body all the time.
Not at all. Yeah, no, it does not have to be extreme. The reason that a couch potato might be able to get away with not exercising and have the world regard them as normal is because the diet that they eat is pathological in nature, and so it by its own characteristics, it packs on a whole bunch of unnecessary weight that fills people out and makes them look normal. Right?
Yeah.
But when you don't do any of that, nature will suck all your sins right out of your body, okay? And what that does is it leaves behind the essential mass, which most people would be very embarrassed to discover that that's what their body actually looks like.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like we're a skeleton underneath here.
Your body does not want to carry around much extra weight. People would be shocked to discover what their actual weight and appearance is like if they were suddenly to be deprived of all that was useless filth and waste. Okay? So
Yeah.
that's why because you find in this community there are a lot of like very spiritually oriented new agey types that
Yes.
get attracted to this.
Yeah.
Because of its spiritual
well, it's
facility
in all the
and utility.
books, Jesus was fasting and Gandhi and all the, yogis. So, right. Yeah.
So those types of people will get attracted to this. And it's typically those types of people that are not really as likely to be caught in the gym, working out or doing anything. Whereas, I have a YouTube channel, and so what I found
What's your YouTube channel? This is a good time since you just brought that up.
The channel is called the Free Melon Society.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll put a link to that in this video.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. And yeah, I recognized that I was in a unique place to be a good spokesperson for the truth of nature, for the inner flame of wisdom that comes intact with your physiology. I realized I was a good candidate because I was just a dude. I was just this regular dude, into the gym, into fighting and martial arts and whatnot. That happened also to be a very good student and got onto the natural hygiene and esoteric health train. Jumped onto that train and it really captivated my interest. And so I realized, I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't see as many examples of people that are involved in both streams, the conventional athleticism and not bodybuilding. I'm not a bodybuilder by any means, but just general fitness.
Yeah.
I didn't see as many people that were involved in both streams. It's like one or the other.
Right.
So I was kind of charting this path where both of them were part of my life equally.
Yeah.
And I felt like I feel like I might be a good candidate to just bring this information to the world and kind of show them, hey, you don't necessarily need to be an emaciated monk sitting on the top of a mountain in the lotus position 24/7 to have good spiritual foundations and faculties develop in your body, in your mind, in your essence. Yeah? And you can still be functional physically, just like everybody else. Like, no one would notice, no one would pick you out as anyone different from anyone else, right? You can still blend in quite well, and that's one of the reasons why I started doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Eli. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, since we did mention that you're from Toronto, when you are shopping for fruit and you like to have a variety, where are some of the places where you like to go to get the good stuff?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Excuse me while I just changed. I was recording as well, but the battery, I think, died on me.
Take a small little intermission.
Yeah, a little intermission. I'm just going to try and set this up again and see if we can record at least some of it. Okay, great.
Dual recording going on.
Yeah, sure. So, where do I shop? Okay, I shop a lot at Asian grocery stores and Caribbean grocery stores. Just ethnic grocery stores that you find in Toronto. Toronto's such a huge city.
Yeah, so I've never been. I've got to make it up there sometime.
Yeah, it's a fun city. It's really a fun city. There's tons to do. Tons to do. No shortage of things to do, and lots of options for food.
Awesome.
Just drowning in options for food.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I'll shop at Asian grocery stores. For a lot of the foods that you would want to find organic, then I'll shop at just grocery stores, conventional grocery stores, health food stores. We've got Whole Foods around. We've got all sorts of independent Canadian health food stores, and I think some international ones. Whole Foods is in the States. Of course it is. Of course it is. So so I'll go there for my organic foods. Even Asian grocery stores carry a whole bunch of organic foods as well.
Right.
Just typically not as much as some of those other health food exclusive stores. So yeah, it's a mix of everything. But I prefer the Asian grocery stores because there's one thing that they do that you don't find as much in the conventional stores is they really, really make sure to stack clearance items like fruits and vegetables that are a little bit overripe, and they just sell them for discounts. I don't know, the conventional stores, for some reason, I find, at least in Toronto, they just don't do that. They just go out of sight, right?
Yeah.
And they only stock the stuff that's not as ripe. I don't know why they do that. They could make so much more money just sell the clearance food for a discount, which is what the Asian grocery stores do.
Right.
And
that's probably better because
way
we like
better.
ripe fruit anyway. So sometimes,
way better.
It's like a great deal. It's clearance and it's prepared to eat.
Oh my gosh! I mean, sometimes the grocery bills that I make away with, they make me laugh. It's a joke, right? What you're paying for the amount of food that you get if you shop exclusively from the clearance aisle, and it's all better tasting fruit. Will nourish you better than the unripe fruit. I shop a lot from clear. If I can find everything that I wanted from the clearance section, I would shop exclusively from the clearance. That's basically how I do it.
Okay.
Yeah, fairly easy.
What else can I ask you? I feel like that's basically the topics that I wanted to cover. Any last minute, like, did you have a favorite fruit from the fruit festival that we attended here?
It was hard. It's funny. People would imagine that this is like a restrictive way of eating. I was almost overwhelmed by the amount of options I had. Yeah, so I was stuffed every day, and just the options that you had. It's like, but should I do this? Should I go for too many options? Do I have a favorite? The mangoes, sweet mangoes. Oh, it's a hard one to top. It's rich. It's satiating. Just fantastic. Ripe cantaloupes, ripe papayas. Man, these are so hard to top. It's funny. Imagine if this was a pizza festival, and every single day we were given pizza for lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just like we've been, just the same quantities we've been given all these fruits.
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day of pizza. How fast do you think you would be clamoring for some other type of food?
Oh my gosh. It's too much.
It's too much. Day 2, you'd be like, no, please. If I see another pizza, I'll throw up. Here on this during this festival, it's almost like the tastes just keep getting better and better and better, even if you're eating the same thing over and over and over. You weren't always eating the exact same thing. I'm just saying that it's different. Natural food has a way of aligning you naturally to what your physiology actually wants, and you don't get sick of it. It's just that the strength of that relationship continues to grow, which is exactly how nature intended it, right? See any chipmunks getting sick of almonds and walnuts? No,
Never.
Of course not.
They eat the same thing all the
time. Same crap every single day, right?
I actually saw a squirrel here. I don't know if you have.
Yeah. I've seen a couple.
Oh my god, they're so different.
Yeah,
they're
they
like
are.
yellow colored underneath, and then like a skunk tail.
Yes.
From the head to the tail. It's like, whoa!
I thought they were small monkeys at first, but I'm like, no, that's a squirrel. Holy smokes! Yeah. But anyway, so favorites. Okay, papaya, mango, and let's just see, cantaloupe. Those are some of my go-tos that I can't seem to get enough of, and I can't seem to get enough of them. Not because it's a particular preference for me. It's just because I'm a human being in a human body. That's just what we like.
That's what you like.
Yeah.
We had special fruits each day, and one we got to try was called pinuela, which looks like a shallot. And when you open it up, it's like this fruit, and it has little seeds in it, but you eat it, and it was like candy to me.
Yeah.
And I totally love those. But of course, I was super into the papayas, and I ate a lot of watermelon.
Me too.
I did a week of watermelon at one point. I don't think I talked about it on YouTube. But that was pretty neat to just be with watermelon for 7 days. My roommates and I, we kind of like hunkered down in the house and just ate watermelon together.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
But, yeah, I mean, is there anything else? What do you think?
That's pretty good. I think you covered most everything. I gave you guys a fairly comprehensive view of just my lifestyle and what I'm all about. I guess the last thing I would say is that if this is something that interests you, if this type of raw food lifestyle is of interest to you, then I would say don't get bogged down by. I think I've ended a lot of talks this way. Because it's just the common refrain. It's the common mistake I see people making all the time. Their head shoots right to the end goal where they want to be, but their bodies are not ready for where their minds want to take them right away. So enjoy the process, like enjoy the journey. Don't get caught up on where you want to be and the fact that you might not be there yet. As long as you don't hurt yourself with unnatural foods. If you're eating only natural foods, fruits, leafy greens, vegetables, or any of the vegetables you want, the raw ones that you can eat and palate in their raw state, okay? So fruits, vegetables, and nuts and seeds. If that's what is constituting your diet and that's it, no other things, harsh seasonings, salts, peppers, coffee, tea, fermented foods, powdered products, flour products, all this these are all fake. These are all designed to drive your palate wild, drive your mind gut connection absolutely haywire, and they ensure that you will never reclaim the true sensitivity that God intended you to have. So as long as you exclude all those things and you're eating only the natural foods, have fun. Eat whatever you want. Eat whatever you want. Wherever the diet takes you, great. And just explore, have fun, experiment with that.
Yeah.
And you'll be gifted and rewarded just for your obedience to natural principles. And if there are higher unfoldments that you want to achieve after that fact, those will unfold in time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's it.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. I hope you enjoyed this today. A little different kind of video. And again, Eli's channel is Free Melon Society on YouTube. And you have I don't have Instagram, but you have Instagram as well.
Yeah, I do. It's freemelon_Eli is my Instagram.
Okay.
On my Instagram, I guess I just give little updates on a little fitness activity, fitness clips here or there, just some other little snippets from my lifestyle that might not make it onto my YouTube channel. So yeah, if you want to check out some of that stuff, then you can take a look at my Instagram as well. But pretty much Instagram and YouTube are the only platforms that I use.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all of it. That's everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I love you all very much. I hope you got something out of this today.
Yay.
I certainly did. And we'll see you back here again another time. Bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.